The turn of the millennium brought about a different era in the NBA, ushering in a new decade of basketball stars. In today's video, we'll delve into the stories of the first overall picks of the 2000s and see where their careers led. Kenyon Martin, New Jersey Nets, 2000. The year 2000 marked the dawn of a new era, and the first overall pick of the millennium was Kenyon Martin.
With the first pick in the 2000 NBA draft, the New Jersey Nets select Kenyon Martin from the University of Cincinnati.
Now, Kenyon might not have reached the superstar status, but he sure made a name for himself and maintained a double-digit scoring average throughout his career. Kenyon's journey began in his college days at Cincinnati, where he showcased incredible athleticism. Fearless and relentless, he quickly climbed the ranks to become the country's #1 rated player.
In their first national championship since the 60s.
However, a broken leg that year did nothing to diminish his standing, and he was ready for his rookie season on schedule. In his rookie year with the New Jersey Nets, Kenyon posted solid numbers, averaging 12 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game. His performance earned him a spot on the All-Rookie First Team. Now, the addition of future Hall of Famer Jason Kidd in his second season elevated the Nets to new heights. Kenyon contributed significantly, with averages of 14.9 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and 1.7 blocks per game, helping the team secure the Eastern Conference title. In his third season, in a team stacked with talents like Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson, Kenyon made his mark once again. In his third season, he helped his team reach the NBA Finals, where they fell short to the Spurs in 6 games. Now, in the basketball world, it's not just about being good. You also need a lady luck to smile upon you. Unfortunately, Kenyon's luck seemed to run dry in 2004 when injuries started to nag him. After his time with the Nets, Kenyon spent a while with the Nuggets, then took a detour to China. But he returned, this time suiting up Clippers, Knicks, and finally the Bucks in 2015. Kwame Brown, Washington Wizards, 2001. Kwame Brown's time in the league was, by all accounts, underwhelming. He seemed burdened by the weight of expectations that loomed over his career. Standing tall at 6 feet 11 inches, he was an absolute force in high school, recognized as the best player in his class. During an era when high school prospects were the talk of the town, the Washington Wizards took him as the first overall pick in the draft.
With the first pick in the 2001 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Kwame Brown from Gwynn Academy.
In a curious twist, the Wizards' general manager at the time was none other than the legendary Michael Jordan, who also suited up for the team. MJ saw potential in Kwame, viewing him as the future star of the franchise. Jordan even took the young giant under his wing. But as they say, not every talented player possesses the elusive it factor. And unfortunately, Kwame Brown didn't quite have it. Try as they may, the Wizards couldn't turn him into the star they envisioned. In 2005, he found himself traded to the Lakers, where he made an attempt to revive his career. However, injuries had other plans. From that point onward, his career began to fizzle out. He had stints with 5 different teams in as many seasons, spanning from 2008 to 2013. When he finally decided to call it a day, his career stats averaged out to 6.6 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, and 0.9 assists per game. But Kwame's love for basketball didn't wane. He made a transition to 3-versus-3 hoops and became a prominent figure in the inaugural season of the Big 3 Basketball League, proving that the game was still very much a part of his life.
Kwame Brown takes it inside.
Yao Ming, Houston Rockets, 2002. In the year 2002, the NBA welcomed its biggest Asian star in history. And when I say biggest, I mean it in every sense of the word. Yao Ming was an absolute marvel of nature, standing at a staggering 7 feet 6 inches and a massive 310 pounds. He was not just a basketball player, he was an anomaly. Yao started his career with the Shanghai Sharks. In his final year there, he led the team to a championship, a remarkable feat that solidified his position as the first overall pick in the 2002 NBA Draft.
With the first pick in the 2002 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Yao Ming from Shanghai, China, and the Shanghai Sharks.
His transition to the NBA was a gradual process, with a somewhat slow start, but he steadily increased his production. Along the way, he began to cement his place, particularly for his iconic moments like his legendary duel with Shaq, during which he blocked the Big Diesel 3 times.
Will they be able to hold on? Later in the first quarter, Shaq spinning, blocked by Yao.
However, Yao Ming's impact extended far beyond the hardwood. He was more than just a basketball star. He was a political, economic, and cultural figure. His presence symbolized not only the globalization of basketball, but also the growing influence of China in the United States during the early 2000s. Yao's tenure in the NBA played a pivotal role in making basketball a beloved sport in China, and this investment paid off handsomely for the NBA. In his initial 3 years in the NBA, Yao displayed incredible durability, missing only 2 games out of 246. However, as time went on, injuries began to pile up. Yet whenever he was on the court, he continued to perform at an elite level, earning multiple All-Star appearances.
You got 3 7-footers running at your shot. How about Yao Ming running the floor for the layup?
Sadly, the injuries eventually took their toll, and Yao was forced to retire in 2011 after just 8 seasons in the league. Despite his relatively short NBA career, Yao's impact on and off the court was so profound that he earned a well-deserved spot in the Hall of Fame. LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, 2003. The 2003 NBA Draft gifted the world with arguably the greatest player of all time.
With the first pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select LeBron James.
A player who needs no introduction. LeBron James is not just the best #1 pick since 2000. He could make a compelling case for the title of the greatest of all time. Imagine the level of talent that's so hyped that the only expectations for him are either Hall of Fame or bust. Now, envision all that immense pressure placed on the shoulders of an 18-year-old high school kid. This is where LeBron's remarkable journey began. I won't bore you with the tales of his high school years, as he pretty much won every individual accolade that existed. To illustrate the kind of superstar he was at such a young age, consider this. LeBron's high school games were nationally broadcasted by ESPN. That's how invested everyone was in this kid from Akron. LeBron left high school as one of the most hyped prospects in NBA history, and the moment he stepped foot in the league, he proved there was no stopping him. He ascended to become the best player in the NBA.
Lob it up. Oh! LeBron James! A major rack attack!
And that status has stuck with him throughout his career. Now, at the age of 38, LeBron stands as the all-time leading scorer in NBA history and ranks 4th in career assists. He's graced the NBA Finals 10 times, including an incredible 8 consecutive appearances from 2011 to 2018, and he's secured 4 NBA championships. On top of that, he's pocketed 4 Most Valuable Player awards and 4 Finals MVP awards
of the 2012 NBA Finals,
and boasts an incredible 19 All-Star selections and 19 All-NBA team selections, including 13 first-team selections. And let's be clear, these are just the tip of the iceberg. If you dive into the nitty-gritty details of his career, you'll find even more greatness. What's more, LeBron holds the distinction of being the first player in NBA history to accumulate $1 billion in earnings while still an active player. Off the court, he has garnered immense wealth and fame through numerous endorsement contracts. Remarkably, he has managed to stay out of trouble throughout his entire career, a true testament to his character. It seems that we've been exposed to LeBron's greatness so consistently that we may have become somewhat desensitized to it. His success in the NBA has been a constant over the last 2 decades, to the point where we might sometimes take it for granted. Yet, LeBron's excellence transcends on-court accomplishments. He's been dominating the world of basketball for so long that it appears he's now looking for new challenges beyond the game. Playing alongside or against his sons, Bronny and Bryce, might be the only challenge left on LeBron's career vision board. Dwight Howard, Orlando Magic, 2004. Dwight Howard, an absolute athletic marvel, is undeniably one of the most dominant big men to ever grace the NBA hardwood. His legacy of dominance began as early as high school. In his senior year of high school, he achieved an astonishing feat. He won nearly all major Player of the Year awards. He claimed the McDonald's All-American Game MVP and led his high school team to a state title. Howard's prowess on the court was so apparent that it simply didn't make sense for him to go to college. Adding to that, during that era, it was a trend to draft players straight out of high school. The Orlando Magic recognized his potential and selected him with their #1 overall pick.
2004 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Dwight Howard from Southwest Christian Academy.
A decision they wouldn't regret. Howard quickly became the linchpin for everything Orlando did on both ends of the court. His unique ability to protect the rim and disrupt pick and rolls was unrivaled. From 2004 to 2012, he maintained incredible averages of 18.4 points, 13 rebounds, 2.2 blocks, and 1 steal per game. In the 2010-2011 season, he secured his 3rd consecutive Defensive Player of the Year award.
Lakers struggling from the field. Offensive rebound blocked by Howard. His 3rd rejection and gets it out.
And even finished as the runner-up in MVP voting. That's how extraordinary Howard was during his prime. In 2012, after 8 seasons with Orlando and a lack of team success, Howard grew frustrated and embarked on one of the first major trade campaigns by a star player. He was subsequently traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, starting a journey that saw him suit up for multiple teams, including the Houston Rockets, Atlanta Hawks, Charlotte Hornets, Washington Wizards, back to the Lakers where he finally clinched an NBA title, the Philadelphia 76ers, and back to the Lakers once more. He concluded his NBA career as a journeyman, but his impact on the court remained undeniable. It's true that his later career path may have colored some opinions, but there's no denying that at his peak, Howard was a double-double machine and the epitome of a dominant big man. His resume is stacked with 8 NBA All-Star selections, 8 All-NBA team nods, 3 NBA Defensive Player of the Year awards, 5 NBA rebounding titles, and 2 NBA block titles. Andrew Bogut, Milwaukee Bucks, 2005. In 2005, the Milwaukee Bucks selected Australian sensation Andrew Bogut as the first overall pick of the NBA draft.
With the first pick in the 2005 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Andrew Bogut from Australia and the University of Utah.
Even as a teenager, he was making waves on the international stage, leading his country to the Under-19 Basketball World Cup and earning himself the MVP honors as his team clinched the title. Instead of immediately declaring for the NBA draft, Bogut chose to spend 2 years in college at the University of Utah. It was there that he solidified his status as a highly sought-after prospect. In just his sophomore season, he completely dominated college basketball, winning numerous Player of the Year awards. His talent was so evident that the Milwaukee Bucks decided to take a chance on him with their first pick. Now, Bogut essentially had 2 distinct NBA careers, one before a gruesome arm injury
came crashing down, and that
his arm's out.
ugly.
and one after. During the first 5 seasons from 2006 to 2011, Bogut posted impressive averages of 13.6 points, 10 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 1.8 blocks per game. His performance even earned him a spot on the All-NBA team in the 2009-2010 season. Then, the injury struck and set him on a different path. Fortunately, this new journey led him to the Golden State Warriors super team. There, he found himself in a fantastic situation, teaming up with the young backcourt duo of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. With the Splash Brothers taking care of the offense, Andrew could focus on defense, and that brought out the best in him, culminating in the 2015 NBA title. The following year, he was a key member of the 73-9 record-setting Golden State team, though he suffered an unfortunate injury in Game 5 of the 2016 Finals, causing him to miss the remainder of the series. Subsequently, He had a brief stint with the Mavericks before making stops with the Cavaliers and the Lakers. In 2018, he returned to his home country to play for the Sydney Kings in the NBL, where he earned the NBL MVP honors. After the 2018-2019 NBL season, Bogut re-signed with the Warriors, helping them reach the 2019 NBA Finals. He then returned to the Kings for a second season before ultimately retiring in 2020. Andrea Bargnani, Toronto Raptors, 2006. The 2006 NBA Draft marked a historic moment as Andrea Bargnani from Italy became the first European player to be selected as the #1 overall pick.
With the first pick in the 2006 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Andrea Bargnani.
Standing at a towering 7 feet, Bargnani started his career in the Italian League, where he tasted success by clinching both the league and cup titles. His stellar performance also earned him the title of EuroLeague's Rising Star. All of these achievements garnered the NBA's attention, leading to his selection by the Toronto Raptors as their first overall pick. In a move that appeared to be influenced by the Dirk Nowitzki model championed by the Mavericks, the Raptors defied conventional wisdom by selecting the 7-foot player, known for his three-point shooting ability, to pair up with Chris Bosh. His initial seasons in the NBA were rather underwhelming, but by his third season, Bargnani began finding his rhythm and averaged more than 15 points per game for the first time in his career. A couple of seasons later, with Chris Bosh's departure, the Raptors handed the keys of the offense to Bargnani, and he responded by increasing his output to over 20 points per game, finishing the season as the 15th highest scorer in the league.
Offense. We'll see if they can go back inside. Bargnani slicing from Jose.
You might wonder why, with such a promising trajectory, he never became an all-star. The primary reason seems to be his perceived lack of commitment. Bargnani often displayed a lack of effort on the court, particularly on defense and in the realm of rebounding. It's perplexing to think of a 7-foot player averaging just 4.6 rebounds for his career. Like many players of his stature, the latter part of his career was marred by injuries, eventually leading to his exit from the NBA after a decade. He made a move to the Spanish League, but his injury woes resurfaced, forcing him to bid farewell to professional basketball. Overall, Bargnani's career reflects that of a talented player who, for some reason, believed that he could get by without putting in the necessary effort, leading to untapped potential and a less than stellar legacy in the NBA. Greg Oden, Portland Trail Blazers, 2007. Greg Oden's story is a tragic tale of unfulfilled potential. Imagine being one of the most promising talents of all time and one of the most dominant college players in the history of the game, leading to your selection as the #1 pick in the NBA Draft.
With the first pick in the 2007 NBA Draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Greg Oden from Ohio State University.
Yet, whenever you step onto the basketball court, your body seems to betray you. This is the unfortunate summary of Greg Oden's career. Back when Greg Oden was still a prospect, his draft hype was second only to LeBron James. So much so that he was chosen ahead of a future basketball giant, Kevin Durant, who was picked second. Even though everyone recognized Durant's immense talent and future stardom, it was universally acknowledged that Oden was the top pick, an all-time great prospect. But this is where the story took a tragic turn. It was revealed that Oden had sustained a hip injury during a growth spurt, resulting in one of his legs being half an inch shorter than the other. Having to play with such a physical imbalance only set him up for further injuries. And sadly, that's exactly what transpired. Greg Oden's NBA career was plagued by injuries from the very start. He missed his entire rookie season due to microfracture surgery on his right knee. 2 seasons later, in 2009-2010, he was starting to find his groove, averaging 11.1 points and 8.5 rebounds per game when he broke his left kneecap. Oden underwent 2 more microfracture knee surgeries, both on his left knee, and was unable to play in his final 2 seasons under contract with the Portland Trail Blazers. In total, he played just 82 games over 5 injury-riddled seasons with the Trail Blazers. He made a brief appearance with the Miami Heat in the 2013-2014 season.
He falls down, Wade finds Oden!
but that marked the end of his NBA career. Afterward, he ventured to China to continue his basketball journey, which would be his last professional club. Oden was undoubtedly a talented player who yearned to showcase his abilities, but his body simply wouldn't allow it. While he may be regarded as a draft bust, he himself has acknowledged this. But it's essential to recognize that he never had the opportunity to truly reveal what he was capable of on the basketball court. It's a heartbreaking tale of unfulfilled promise and the cruel hand that injuries dealt him. Derrick Rose, Chicago Bulls, 2008. A few years into the 2000s, the NBA finally welcomed its first point guard of the decade, and it was none other than Derrick Rose, a player whose career has been a roller coaster of highs and lows. Born into underprivileged circumstances in Chicago, Rose's life was shaped by his unwavering focus on basketball. He dominated at the high school level and continued his ascent at the University of Memphis, where his incredible speed, agility, explosiveness, and natural talent made him one of the most highly touted prospects in the country. Given his Chicago roots, it was no surprise that the Bulls, holding the first overall pick, selected him.
With the first pick in the 2008 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
From the very beginning, Derrick Rose wasted no time making his mark, earning the Rookie of the Year trophy while averaging 20 points per game. In his sophomore season, he took a significant leap forward, securing his first All-Star selection and steadily solidifying his place among the league's elite guards. However, it was his performance in the following season that truly stood out.
This is trouble.
In his third year, Rose averaged an impressive 25 points, 7.7 assists, and 4.1 rebounds per game, earning the coveted title of NBA Most Valuable Player.
The Kia NBA 2010-11 MVP trophy.
He joined Michael Jordan as one of the only players in Chicago Bulls history to receive this prestigious award and become the youngest MVP winner in NBA history. At that moment, the sky was the limit for Derrick Rose. People in Chicago saw a new Michael Jordan in him. He was the future of the franchise. Unfortunately, injuries began to take their toll on Rose. An ACL tear forced him to miss the entire 2012-2013 season. He made a comeback in the 2013-2014 season, but suffered another setback, tearing his meniscus. For a player like Rose, whose game relied heavily on explosive jumping and quick direction changes, these injuries were devastating. It wasn't the end of his career in the league, but it marked a significant change. No more All-Star selections or MVP titles. He became an average guard, moving from team to team. With recurring injuries and a changing landscape, the Bulls sadly traded Rose to the Knicks. He continued to play, but was no longer the force he once was. His journey took him to various teams, with a return to the Knicks in 2021. As of 2023, Derrick Rose has found a place with the Grizzlies and serves as a solid backup guard option in the league. His career is a testament to resilience and adaptation in the face of adversity, with a story of incredible highs followed by challenging lows.
Rose trying to get open, fires away, bang! It's over!
Blake Griffin, Los Angeles Clippers, 2009. Blake Griffin is the embodiment of flashiness, a dunk machine, and a true athletic marvel, and his dominance began at an early age, as he led his high school team to 4 state championships and amassed an astonishing 106-6 overall record during his high school years. When he entered the University of Oklahoma, he was already one of the most highly rated and decorated recruits in the game. It was there that he took his stock to even greater heights. In just his sophomore season, he swept every major College Player of the Year award.
And nothing has come easy. Pass deflected, Griffin still gets his hands on it.
Solidifying his status as a future NBA star. He knew he belonged in the big leagues and wasted no time declaring for the NBA draft. The Los Angeles Clippers selected him as the #1 pick.
With the first pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Blake Griffin from the University of Oklahoma.
But fans had to wait a bit before witnessing their star prospect in action, as an injury sustained during preseason sidelined him for his entire first season. Griffin finally made his NBA debut as a rookie the following season. It was an impressive debut, as he was selected as an All-Star, won the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, and earned the title of NBA Rookie of the Year. But the pinnacle of Griffin's career came during the era of Lob City, when Chris Paul joined the Clippers. This was must-watch basketball, and no daily top 10 play compilation was complete without at least one Chris Paul to Blake Griffin alley-oop.
Oh, and he trapped the sledgehammer! But the pass by Paul was perfect!
Everything seemed perfect, but then came the injuries. Blake's playing style, which heavily relied on high-flying dunks and explosive athleticism, made him susceptible to injuries. He lost his groove and flashiness, and aside from a 2019 All-Star selection with the Detroit Pistons, he experienced a decline since his Clipper days. In March 2021, Griffin signed with the Brooklyn Nets. Subsequently, in September 2022, he inked a deal with the Boston Celtics, where he currently plays. That said, if there's one lesson we can draw from these diverse journeys, it's that the #1 overall pick is just the beginning of an athlete's story. It's a starting point, not the final chapter. In the NBA, greatness can be found at any draft position, and the true measure of a player's career is not where it begins, but where it ultimately leads.